And turn this over here to our fabulous afternoon keynote speaker. We welcome John Corripo. John, woo, rockstar status, right? Was interim director of Q, now executive director of Q. Creator of the Rockstar Camps from Q, and of course the Jet Review. That's a really important piece for some of us. Google certified innovator. Apple distinguished educator, co-designer of Minarets High School with my good friend from college, my buddy Michael Niehoff, and what a great team you guys made over there. Really honest, incredible work over there. Three-time Apple distinguished school, Q Gold Disc recipient. The list goes on. He's an incredible speaker, high energy. You guys are going to really enjoy him. I'm going to give the microphone over to John Corripo.
Thank you. Welcome, Saturday teachers. I'm just letting you know I'm going to be all over the place, so get ready. I like Saturday teachers because they're people who have said, I want to make my craft better, right? And the people, do you ever go to, sometimes at your staff meeting, maybe somebody's knitting in the back, or maybe adult coloring book action? That is not you people. Like, you people are in it. Like, if this was a beer tasting festival, nobody would be asking for Coors right now. Does that make sense? Sorry if I offended the Coors people, but it's just an analogy. So, I'm going to just start us off with something fun. How many people have looked up Amazon funny reviews? Oh, okay, they're like, yes. How many have not looked up Amazon funny reviews? Okay, so Amazon actually curates their funny reviews. I'm going to show you a couple. The Hutzler 571 banana slicer. What could possibly be funny about the Hutzler 571? Well, here's one of the reviews. For decades, I've been coming up with an ideal way to slice a banana. Use a knife, they say. Well, my parole officer won't let me be around knives. Shoot it with a gun. Background check, hello! I had to resort carefully to attempt to slice those bananas with my bare hands. 99% of the time I would get so frustrated that I would just end up squishing the fruit in my hands and throwing it against the wall in a fit of anger. Then, after a fit of banana-induced rage, my parole officer induced me to this kitchen marvel, and my life has changed. No longer consumed by seething animosity and anger towards thick-skinned fruit, I was able to concentrate my love of theater, and I'm writing a musical play about two lovers from rival gangs that just try to make it in the world. I'll call it South Side Story. How many reviews? 57,000. 57,000 people found this helpful. And then sometimes they're shorter reviews. I tried the banana slicer and found it unacceptable. As shown in the picture, the slicer is curved from left to right. All my bananas are bent the other way. How many people like Jim Anderson's review? Only 15,000. All right, how about this one? The auto-exact wheelbase steering wheel attachable work surface tray.
Oh no!
Because, every time I'm driving, I wish I had a keyboard. Okay, now the grammar isn't as good on these, so I didn't edit them. This is raw. I love emailing the Highway Patrol while I drive to let them know the tag numbers of cell phone using drivers. That's a pretty good irony lesson if you're teaching English. Here's a good one. Okay, I guess, but the bumpy road makes it hard to type. There's a lot of pedestrians and traffic that keep distracting me from my computer. But the best one of all, can it slice bananas too? Is it better than the Hutzler 571? Nothing is better, except for, of course, the Mountain 3-Wolf shirt. We'll be getting to that one in a minute. Although if someone were to utilize all three of these at once, a tear in the time-space continuum would result in the destruction of our solar system. So please use responsibly. And then one of my favorites. It's hard to read, but I need you to look at the title. How to Avoid Huge Ships. This is a real book. Check the price. Watch this subtlety. Why no Kindle edition, given that there is a huge ship bearing down on me right now? I am extremely disappointed that I can't... Why no Kindle edition? And then this one. As the father of two teenagers, I found this book invaluable. I'm sure other parents can empathize when I talk about the impact of huge ships on their lives. And to think, I was even younger than my kids now. Huge ships are everywhere, and it doesn't help that TV and movies make huge ships seem glamorous and cool. This book helped me approach the subject of huge ships with my kids in an honest and non-judgmental way. Because of the insights of this book, I can sleep a little better and cope with the reality that I can't always be there to protect my parents from huge ships, especially as they become adults. I'm confident that my teens, when confronted by a huge ship, are much better prepared to make wiser decisions than I did. Anyways, it goes on like that. $96 book. And it seems like it's pretty easy, right? There's a huge ship, I will avoid it. Yeah, but no, it's 96 bucks. But then, you thought the One Wolf shirt was good. How many people have a One Wolf shirt? The point made, only one. Did you know that you can get a Three Wolf shirt? Yes, I'm actually thinking of making this the Q18 shirt with three wolves on the front and I Heart Q on the back. You want to see the review? It's a work of art. I arrived at Walmart, mounted my courtesy scooter, walking to such a drag, sitting side saddle so that my wolves would show. While browsing through the tube socks, I could hear aroused asthmatic breathing behind me. I turned to see a slightly sweaty dream in sweatpants and flip-flops. She told me she liked the wolves on my shirt. Are you wishing you had a Three Wolf shirt now?
For my husband.
Yeah, for her husband. She told me she liked the wolves, and I told her I wanted to howl at her moon. She offered me a swig from her Mountain Dew, and I drove my scooter with her shuffling alongside, out the door, and into the rest of our lives. Thank you, Three Wolf shirt. Oh, it's not over. Pros, fits my girthy frame, has wolves, attracts women. Cons, only three wolves. Could probably use some on the guns. Cannot see wolves when sitting with arms crossed. Wolves would have been better if they glowed in the dark. Everywhere I share this, Three Wolf shirt sales go up in that zip code. So here's why I share those with you. Does that kind of creativity come from this kind of instruction? And I can't show this slide to non-Saturday teachers because they become offended. Because they say, that's all I got, John. So I just want you to pause for a second. Look at the madcap creativity that's going on. And yet, I literally dug up by accident in my parents' garage. I was looking through some things. I have a typed lesson plan on onion skin paper from my aunt's English class in college in 1961.
Oh no.
How to write a paragraph. It's the hamburger. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about a new thing we're working on at Q called craft teaching. Have you guys heard of open resources, OER, right? OER? Everybody loves some OER. Quizzes, OER. Kahoot, OER. Khan Academy, OER. Common Lit, OER. Seesaw, OER. Okay, but open pedagogy. The problem with OER is it's just a tool. What does the tool need to make it into magic? The magician, right? So open pedagogy is the idea of teachers sharing how to use the tools. Have you guys gone to conferences where people are like, here's a tool, here's a tool, here's a tool, and then you get back to school and you go, got a lot of tools. I'm not sure what the process looks like. So I'm going to share some ideas for the idea of open pedagogy today, and I'm going to show you guys my secret weapon. I have a secret weapon for this. In 2008, a friend of mine emailed me this one-page article from Phi Delta Kappa. That's the University of Michigan's academic research paper, and it was written by this guy, Herb Childress. He is the Dean of Research and Assessment at Boston Architectural College. He spent a month in Northern California as a social anthropologist studying high school. Sorry, did I say a month? A year. Full year doing this. And the title of the post is 17 Reasons Football is Better Than High School. And as Herb visited the classrooms in the high school, what he observed was students mostly told him about boredom. Sitting and listening, sitting and listening, sitting and listening. So think about this for a moment and just keep it for later. What year did I see the article? 2008. Okay, that's already a decade ago. All right? So, in the school that he observed, he saw striking and consistently differences between perfunctory classroom sessions and lively extracurricular. He saw boys that were playing football but got a D in their French class because they did nothing. They would do anything in football but nothing in class, in French. Yes, literally in French in this case. So he went through and he came up with these 17 reasons. He said, let me give you 17 reasons. Now, if you're wondering if it's a football-centric thing, this is the other interesting part in the blog post. He uses football as the example not because he loves it, but because he hates it. He was going to call it 17 reasons even football is better than high school. He loathes football, but he still thinks football is better than high school. So here's a couple of them. I'm not going to do all 17, but if you Google 17 reasons football is better than high school, you can find the post. It's easily attainable. In football, teenagers are encouraged to excel. Okay, they congratulate them on their accomplishments, but don't give them much time to be complacent and then ask them to do even more. What happens when you win the division championship in football?
Great job. Let's win the next trophy.
You have to go to the playoffs. What happens if you win the first playoff game? You have to play off again. What happens if you win the region? You have to. You don't just say, hey, good season. See you next year. You pass the season. See you next year. Okay? And so that's one of the concepts. And in the classroom, we get a test on polynomials, and the best result they can get is a score high enough to never have to do this again. My example of that is, how many of you said this when you got to college? You sit down with the counselor and you go, how many classes until I have to be done with math? 2, I'm good, right? How many people did that? You get to college, if I become a teacher, how many math classes do I have to take? Okay, what about PE? So there's this ongoing thing. This is a big one though, and this is what I'm going to be focusing on. In football, repetition is honorable. Have you ever tried to give kids an assignment twice?
Oh, yeah,
We already did this! You know what I tell them? If we already did it, you better get an A. And I'm only giving you 5 minutes. So you see how it all shifts? So I'm going to show you some ways to get that done. In curriculum, we continually move forward with not much opportunity to do things a second time. Students have to do new things every time they get to class. If you've ever been on a sports team, how would your sports team perform if every time you got to practice, the coach said, we're doing something different today? And then tomorrow, we're doing something different today. Every day. That's what we do to kids, though. That's what we do to our GATE kids. That's what we do to our EL kids. That's what we do to our poor reading kids. We say, oh, I know yesterday it was A, B, C, D. Today it's B, C, D, A. And by the way, we have this super heavy-duty content we have to do as well. We're taking off a lot of kids' processing power on them just figuring out the game. And here's one of my favorite examples. We're reading something in history, and I tell the kids, you need to talk about what you see in the pictures. And they will literally walk up to me and say, what's in that picture? And I go, read the caption. And they go, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. You guys ever have that? What's in this picture? Did you read the caption? Oh, yeah, that's good. They are so bound up in what are we doing, they're not really thinking. And then imagine kids feeling that pressure for 180 days a year for 12 years. I call it the edu-gulag. We're basically telling them, you're not good at this. Every day. For 180 days. And then we go, man, the kids aren't into my class this year. What's wrong with these 8th graders? Well, they've had 8 years of people telling them, you're not that good at this. So let's flip that. Do you guys like the sound of that? There's ways we can do this, okay? One more thing on repetition. In football, students do the same drills over and over all season long and get better at them
the skills get easier because the players start to use the skills to do, and this is the key, things that are more complex. So it's not just the same thing every day. There's a progression. I do this so that I can do that. The activity's about the same, but there are wrinkles. In football, repetition's honorable. Now here's what's really sad. Landscape of Betrayal, Landscape of Joy, written in 1998. We're coming up on 20 years, guys. I read the article in 2008, it was already 10 years old. So we have to own our craft on this. We can't count on publishers or manufacturers to fix this for us. 5-paragraph essay. 40 problems of math every night. 100 Latin roots over Easter break. 2,000 thing. Have you ever seen people that do this? They give kids like a 200-point dot to dot. Oh, they do it. 200-point dot to dot for a 5th grade history assignment. Dot to dot. You draw on the dot. But why? I don't know. Why does Denny's food taste crappy? I don't know. So this is one of the things we got to do right here. We got to look at it and say, if it's not working, why do we keep doing it? We've got to be willing to say, this is not working. If doing 40 problems of math every night was going to make us into a nation of math people, we'd be there, dude. Technology was going to be grind the book up and let kids listen to it. When I opened that one-to-one high school that she was talking about, Minarets, the local high school was like, oh, it's too bad. Yeah. Oh, those poor one-to-one kids, they'll never talk to the teachers. They were convinced this is what we're going to be doing, that basically our class was just going to be digital scantrons all day long. Digital scantrons. That's not my job. Here's another example of reps. This is a Japanese baseball team. I want you to pay attention to who is working out. Everybody's working out. They're doing all the possible variations of what you do on the infield, right? Who's getting reps? Everybody. So everybody isn't a starter in that situation, but who's getting reps? As a former football coach, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got a football, any sports team, where you're scrimmaging more than half of your practice time, you're probably going to lose. Do you know why? You don't have any techniques. And when you're scrimmaging, where's half the team? On the bench. You want everybody practicing, which is why I like that Japanese baseball video, because there's clearly 5 catchers, and there's one of them is better than the others, right? But who's getting reps? So my goal is in the classroom is how do I get the kids doing more work and me doing less? And for them to be able to work out like that as a classroom, they have to know what we do every day. So that's where I'm taking us on this journey. Think about it this way, don't plan a year, plan a perfect week. And repeat it 32 times, with variations. Because you don't want it to just turn into a different version of drill and kill, right? So I'm going to show you guys some of these examples right here. I call this concept a protocol as opposed to a lesson. A lesson is something that you use once and put away for the year, right? Oh, I have a great handout for Hatchet. Or I have a great lesson on, my vice principal came in and did one. He did this really good lesson on palindromes. And I thought, wow, that was great. And then I thought, wow, I can only do that one day a year. Right? So having a lesson on palindromes that's awesome is kind of useless. Because the 5 or 6 kids that like school will be into it, and the other 20 kids will smile and hope for the next lesson. Because they're not grasping what's going on necessarily. These boxed curriculums, the day that the box curriculum ended for me was when I got my new adoption and I had 400 different transparencies. If you younger teachers don't know what transparencies are, they're what we used to miss bathroom breaks over, because I needed to make transparencies. It's kind of like a video projector, except instead of a PDF, you just have an actual physical thing that you put and then it projects up. In the 400 transparencies, how many days a year do we have? So I'm like, I'm not good at math, but I don't like the way this is going. They gave us 100 different graphic organizers for storytelling. And I was like, you know what, forget that crap. We're gonna do Venn diagrams, and we're gonna do, I got about 3 basic ones that I use. We're just gonna use those when? All year long. Every subject, every time we work, the same thing, and we're gonna go faster and faster. See the football tie-in? Yeah. So it doesn't matter what we're comparing. We could say palindromes versus other odd word formations. Go. I don't have to teach them the Venn diagram part because we only do it once a year for palindromes. So I really started getting away from that, and I like this approach. You guys know what that is? You go to Home Depot, that's called a bucket boss. What happens if I throw everything in the bucket? It's a big mess, right? If I take the same tools and put them in this canvas bag around the bucket, I just take off the tools I need when I need. If I put all the tools in the bucket, the tool I need is always at the, it's never at the top, because I'm an English teacher, so I have to invoke irony. So like, the tool that I want is never going to be where I want it. But with a bucket boss, I can easily see, combine, and grab things at different times. In the military, they call it palletizing. Have you guys heard of the term palletize? Oh, good. If you have never heard, you're gonna like this. So basically, the idea is that in an airplane or a ship or on a truck, the spaces are fixed and finite. So you don't pack things at your whim, you pack them to fit exactly. Because flying something from here to Afghanistan is super expensive, so you don't want empty space. So here's a little graphic for you, palletizing. You have all these different variations, but it always fits in the footprint of a, you don't make one that's 7 feet wide because pallets are 4 by 4. So it's always got to fit in this vertical space. If that is still not making sense to you, you can take TVs. TVs are all different sizes, but you got to make them fit on what? One pallet. So you might have one giant big screen and 5 little bitty ones, or you might have 4 little bitty ones and you stack them together and use this stretchy, saran wrap type of stuff. Or you can think Amazon. Do you think every time Amazon ships something, they go, what are we gonna do? This thing is a weird shape. Have you guys ever gotten weird shaped boxes? Sometimes, right? But always, Amazon makes them fit into certain parameters, and sometimes they use more filler, and sometimes they use less filler. But they don't have a million kinds of boxes at Amazon. They probably got about 20. And you've always got to figure out a way to get the thing in that box. And that box has to fit in a UPS truck. So sometimes when you make the thing, it has to break down into shorter parts. So this is the idea of palletizing. So I'm taking the Amazon idea of palletizing and saying, make the content fit the time. See the difference here? Instead of making the time fit the content, I'm going to make the content fit the time, use reps to expand efficiency, and optimize the process, not the content. And that's the switch. And I'm going to give you some examples on that. But what you think is, how much can we get done in 10 minutes today? If we do the same activity tomorrow, will it take 10 minutes? If we do the same activity for 3 weeks, so an activity that might take me 1 hour today, by Friday, I can have most of the kids down to 10 minutes. Which means, guess what happens? Instead of doing a 1 hour activity every day, I can start doing 4 or 5 10-minute activities. So it's kind of a dance of combining all these different things to fit in that 1 hour. So sometimes I give up a whole hour to break in a new protocol, but the next day it's a half an hour, which gives me another half hour to do 3 10-minute protocols. Is that kind of making sense? Or think about it this way. If you're a chef, do you have a different breakfast at your restaurant every single day? Do you have 180 breakfasts at your classroom? No, you have 8 or 10. You've got your egg dishes, you've got your pancake waffly things, you've got your continentals, but you've got your 8 or 10 things that are your deal. Now your pancake thing might have strawberries once in a while, but it's still a pancake thing, right? And your breakfast burrito, sometimes might have potatoes, sometimes it might be carne asada, depending on what you had for dinner last night. But you're still working within frameworks of things. IHOP is violating this rule, just for the record. Their pancake, I just want pancakes, okay? I don't need you to shove things I don't want in pancakes. I would just like really good pancakes. Or Taco Bell. Do you guys ever, you pull up at Taco Bell and you go, oh yeah, taco, I'll taco. I'm panicking. I want a taco and a burrito. I don't want things I've never heard of. Can I just have a taco? In-N-Out has this down, right? They don't do chicken. Salad is not an option. There's no salad option. Although it would be funny to go in and say, can I have a double with, no, they don't even have lettuce, do they? Oh, they have lettuce, yeah. Can I just have a double but only the lettuce? You can do that? No, I don't mean I mean only the lettuce. All right, but they're still working within a framework, right? Animal fries are just all the stuff from an animal burger, but on the fries. So it's still working within a framework. So this is the Q Craft thing. I'm gonna give you guys some hows right now. This is the one that kicked it off for me in 1999. In a classic language arts situation, this is how we teach the 8 parts of speech. Week 1 is? Week 2? Week 3? Week 4, it's gonna start getting quieter. Okay, here we go, week 5? Week 6? So what occurred to me is this. As a former student, I went through that process. A week of nouns, I get a B. A week of verbs, I get a B. A week of adverbs, I get a B. We go to do the test, I get a D. Why? And then I never made anything with it, right? I'm just highlighting and underlining. I'm not really making anything. Which would be like saying, I'm applying to work here at Ruth's Chris, and I have some really new ideas for you guys. Like for your menu. Well, what do? Well, I heated up the entire series of Marie Callender's dishes. I'm an expert at Bird's Eye. I know all about DiGiorno pizza. Are you a chef at this point? No, you're a reheater. You could work at Applebee's with that, but not real restaurants. So I came up with this graphic organizer, which, if you're saying, John, you seem like a fun guy, this doesn't seem that much fun, just bear with me. So basically what we're gonna do here, here's the flip. We're gonna do all 8 parts of speech every day. All 8 parts of speech every day for 8 weeks. You wanna know the super fun part of this? That is my total lesson plan until around Halloween. Every day when the kids come to work, what are we doing? The fun part's in the middle where you write a paragraph using the palette. So I need 1 part of speech. Some kids will try to shove all the words in, but you build a palette, and in the middle, just knock me out 1 quick paragraph. How many teachers have been around long enough to know what I do, we do, you do looks like? Okay. For you younger people, I'll explain it right now. On the first day, you will get an A for filling in everything correctly. And I'm going to give you the answers. Day 2, some of you will become bored and say things like, what about this? And I would say, oh, you would like to upgrade. Share your idea. So now we're into what? We do. By the 4th or 5th rep, everybody work on your own, and it's first day takes about an hour. I don't have to do any direct instruction. I just explain it as we go. Because I'm going to do this every day until around Halloween. Do you see the sports tie-in? Now here's the fun part. The picture. It's not flour. The latex paint. Oh, the television. So, by adding an interesting picture, what has just happened? This came to life a little bit, right? Think about this for your ELs. Let's just play the game. Give me 3 nouns, yell them out. Paint, I got, what, somebody said white. Is white a noun? Okay, I like the aggressiveness though. I like boys. Okay, boys. We got paint and we got boys. What's one more? Living room. Nice, two-word answer. Love it. Has anybody got a proper noun for me? Proper noun. John, David. What's the difference on John and David? It's, yes, it's capitalized, right? So this is just how I run my class. I just make sure that on the first day, everybody has an opportunity to do what? Put in a right answer. And then they write me a paragraph. If you want funny pictures, you can open a new tab on your phone, and you type in, I'm not making this up, times it's okay to say the F word. It's okay. It's not nasty if you look. Times it's okay to say the F word. People say, John, you must have thousands of these pictures. I do not. I have about 9. Because you know what happens? I start getting emails from human children saying, we should use this picture tomorrow. I'm going to call that engagement. So the way my class works is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Same thing. What's the variation? The picture. And you know what? Every class I've ever done this with, because I've done it from 4th grade to 10th grade, there's a kid who every day his story is about who farted. Every day. And as long as the grammar's right, I bless him. Because all I'm grading is the grammar part, right? If you have kids that can take this much stuff and turn it into a really nice paragraph with an exclamation and a compound sentence in 10 minutes with no assistance, how's your year gonna go? Right? So here's phase 2. This is what I do from about Halloween to about Thanksgiving. And I say about because sooner or later, she's eyeballing me right now, she'll say, how long are we gonna do this? And the answer is, when everybody gets an A, we'll stop. I suggest you talk about this at recess. I suggest you talk about it on the bus ride going home. I suggest you talk about it on your soccer team, because as soon as I can give you a picture, and you can do that by yourselves, all of us, this is mastery teaching, will stop. How's my year gonna go if everybody can do everything? Now here's the joke on them. This is what shows up the next day. That was 8 parts, this is sentence parts. You wanna see the picture we start with? We already know this picture. But what we're doing now is write an imperative sentence about the picture. Write an interrogative sentence about the picture. Do dialogue about the character. You've got character 1, character 2, character 1 again, character 2. We're going to do a dialogue. Watch this. Use there and there correctly in a sentence. Use it in a positive. Write a sentence with a semicolon. Write a compound sentence, write a complex sentence. And what's pretty cool is, remember it took me from the first day to Halloween to get the first one done? You know what happens on the second one? It's about 40% less time. Now I want you to imagine what kind of teaching nirvana you'll be in when you can say to your students, the district writing prompts today, be careful with your proper nouns. You capitalize, they go, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'd like everybody to have at least one appositive, semicolon, compound, or complex in each paragraph, and they go, Corripo, we can knock that out for you right now. Do you see the difference in what their performance is gonna be like? What does my planning look like? I need 2 documents. And I've got creative writing covered. I've got visual speaking skills because they're going to read them out loud to each other. That is 21 sentences. I get kids where they can do 21 sentences like that in about 15 minutes. If you teach the 5 sentences as a paragraph model, how many paragraphs is that? How would you like to have 6th graders that can do this in 12 minutes? And then when you say to them, I'm going to give you a funny picture and a blank piece of paper, go, and then this keeps happening. And then guess what my assessment is? Do this, pick your own picture, I'm not helping you. There's your assessment. So that's the mindset. Do you guys see why I don't need textbooks? I know what the standards are. I know how human children can use them to actually own them. And like I said, I've walked in on 4th grade classes where I don't know a single kid and done this. The teacher actually sat down next to the superintendent and said, my kids won't be able to do this. 7 minutes later, the superintendent looked over and goes, it's going pretty good. The teacher then said, Luis won't be able to do this because he's an EL and he's resource. 3 minutes later, guess who had way too many prepositional phrases for us? Yeah, that guy. Because I changed the context of the learning. It wasn't a right-wrong environment, it was an over-participation environment that was very scaffolded. And these are kids that I had never met. And when I left 20 minutes later, and they had all done it, they go, when are you coming back? And I go, sorry, I don't work here. Same picture. So you see what's going on? Relevance and authenticity, we're having real conversations about real writing. I don't need accommodations. This is the accommodation. High-low kids, I've seen gate kids staple on extra paper. They literally ripped out binder paper and stapled it on because they wanted their paragraph to keep going. How's that for engagement? That's what it should look like. And multiple modalities. So there's a nice graphic organizer that's the same every day. Yeah. What? 2 M's? Oh, well, let's do this then. Okay. I would like you to meet the head chef at Applebee's. Thank you, Letty. I like honesty, but I want to get that slide going. So think about it this way. How many of you make macaroni and cheese from scratch? It's different than making it out of the box, right? So this is the idea of open pedagogy. I'm showing you guys some macaroni and cheese that I've made mostly from scratch. Your job is to add a little bacon. I got to be 47 years old before I realized you could put bacon on macaroni and cheese. I was like, how the hell did this happen? Now, I knew from the late 60s you could put hot dogs, but I didn't ever think of bacon. I got another upgrade for you in a while, but this is what the idea of open pedagogy is. You create something amazing that works, and you publicly share it on Twitter, on your blog. Other teachers take it and they add some bacon, or cubed up Spam. Now that may not be your thing, but I like Spam as long as you fry it. I don't like it raw. Now this is, so I showed you 8 parts and sentence parts. This is my friend Lisa Nowakowski. How many people in here are K-8? How many people are self-contaminated? That's a Harry Wong joke. You teach everything, right? How many people teach everything? Most of us that teach everything hate math, because that's why we decided to be a K-8 teacher. Okay, I'm just speaking for myself then. I'm not good at math. English is my thing. So, this is my friend Lisa. She has a self-contaminated classroom in the King City area. She turned 8 parts into math reps. Check this out. Multiply the, well, first of all, they take the number of the day, and they take it to the 10th, and they multiply it times 1/10. They do decimal times whole, decimal times 1/10, decimal times whole and 1/10, divide the decimal, subtract the decimal, prime factor. They do all of that. When the kids do the work, it looks like that. In the old classic textbook world, each of these would have been a what week lesson? She's got them doing them all when? Same time. She needs about 6 of these graphic organizers to get through most of the year. You see where this is going? The only thing that changes every day is the number. The graphic organizer is the same. First day for her 5th graders in King City, and I know you guys have a lot of ELs here. She's in King City. Anybody want to work in King City? King City's tough. They have a really tough environment. Her 5th graders in King City, first day took an hour. By the first week, they were down to 9 minutes. Because the only thing that changed every day is the what? The number. And they're doing what? Multiple activities at the same time. And this is one of my favorite parts. Do you guys have any of those Common Core parents that are like, I don't want you teaching my kid the area model. I don't want that. Okay, look what Lisa's got going on. They're teaching the algorithm and the area model at the same time, because comparing is better. So that's called math reps. Here's the primary version. What changes every day? Just a number. This is a lot like calendar time. It's just a little bit amped up, right? It's just a little bit amped up. So when they fill it out, they got all that going on. If you have an interactive whiteboard in the front of the room, I would have that kid that's always talking on the whiteboard while I'm out TWAing. Do you know what TWA teaching is? Teach while walking around? TWA? So I would have one kid on my interactive whiteboard doing this, or maybe my iPad, and then all the other kids would be like this, and I'd be like, Sean, how's it go? Yeah, looking good, Sean. Okay, if you guys aren't sure, check Sean's good on the number line. I would let the kid be on the screen, and I'll be out mixing around. If you like this, how about this? Corey Orlando and Christine Pinto made the number of the day template. This is a self-correcting Google spreadsheet. She picks the number of the day, and it self-corrects for the primary kids. How about that? Because I have this balance. We have to teach algorithms, but I think we spend too much time teaching algorithms. We got to get balance. You got to get the algorithms part to get the automaticity, but you also need to get to the 3-act math and the deeper stuff and the coding, and this is the way you get the time. Let the computer grade it. So what happened here was, I made some macaroni and cheese, which was my 8 parts. Lisa came and dropped some bacon on my macaroni and cheese, and then Corey and Christine went ahead and put lobster on my mac and cheese. So there's just this progression of, hey, this is a different way of delivering the information that we can do on a daily basis. So that's the macaroni, bacon, lobster progression. So I'm not going to show you guys this for time purposes. How many of you use Kahoot? She raised her hand before I was even done. She's like, yes. How many of you use quizzes? Okay, if you've been using Kahoot, you're wrong. I'm just saying that to make a point. You're not really wrong. Here's what I don't like about Kahoot, though. How many people win? As a former human boy, if I don't win the first 3 rounds, I ain't playing your game. I'm out. I might be answering, but I'm not playing. The other thing I don't like about Kahoot is everybody goes when? Same time. If you haven't checked out Quizzes, it has the same easy look and feel as Kahoot, except every kid's on a different problem at the same time, and the leaderboard shows everybody. And so this protocol is called the Fast and the Curious. I've Vin Diesel'd myself in there. It's the Fast and the Curious. Back in the old days when I taught Latin roots, I would spend 30 or 40 minutes giving kids what? The new words. And it sounded like this. Collaborate. Collaborate. There's no K. There's no K. Collaborate. Next word. Creative. Good. I would spend a lot of time doing that. I would spend a lot of time doing what? Getting in hundreds of pieces of paper, word searches. I went to CompUSA and bought a crossword generating software. I thought I was the man. And turns out that's kind of a big waste of time. So this is what I've been doing with the Fast and the Curious concept. Monday, I'm going to give you the quiz, sight unseen. I'm just going to drop you 15 vocab words. Does this work in science? Yes. Does it work in math? Yes. All grade levels. Here's the vocab for the week. No direct instruction. I'm just dropping you in the pool. Then I'm going to do a little reteach. And I'm going to give you the quiz again. I've done this about 40 times this year with mixed groups. I had 700 teachers in the room. I gave them the quiz. How many perfect scores out of 700? 3 perfect scores. The test was on Nintendo. The 3 geeks were geeking. They were like, hell yes, I did get a perfect score. You know I did. 700 teachers in the room, how many perfect scores? I did a mini lesson, reteach, about 5 minutes. We went again. How many perfect scores? I like your aggressiveness. She's like, all of them. Over 350 perfect scores, and very, very few people missed more than one. In an 11-minute investment, I was able to move their Nintendo Entertainment System skill set from here to here. Now, why did I pick Nintendo? Because it was something they didn't have any relevance for. It's like, welcome to your high school chemistry class. Oh, yes, I know H2O. What else you got? Right? CO2. I know CO2. Yeah, I watched a space movie. I know about O2. About O2. So the idea is quiz, immediate feedback, quiz again. See the sports tie-in? Can you imagine being on a sports team that goes like this? I'll tell you guys how practice went this week after the game. That does not end well, ever. Guess what we're gonna do on Tuesday, guys? Same thing. Guess what we're gonna do on Wednesday? Same thing. How many worksheets will I correct this week? Exactly 0. And guess what? On Wednesday, if the whole class gets a 95%, I go over to my grade book and I go A, fill down. Now this is DOK 0.5. This is very low. But how much time do we spend on that kind of stuff, you guys? You know where you take your cart home Friday night, your little rolly cart? I'm gonna correct all these papers this weekend. Yes, I am too. This is my grades. This is gold. And then Monday you come back. I forgot that the cat festival was in town. So if I don't need to do this Thursday, I get Friday back. I want you to imagine 1 day a week back for the rest of your career. So teachers that say, I don't have time. Ooh, art day, or 20% time, or projects. There's all these things that you never have time for. You just picked up at least a day a week, forever. And you can do that with Socrative. You know how I use Socrative? Have you guys heard of Socrative? In Socrative, they have a short answer version. How many questions? 1 question. So I do this. Ready? Write a compound sentence. Go. When they're done, I hit start vote. That their answers go out to everybody in the class, and I say, pick the 3 best. Go. What's the pattern? What made the right one right? What made the wrong one wrong? Then I reload. Where's the question? Write another compound sentence about your favorite cartoon character. Go. Write a compound sentence about your favorite food. Go. I do that 4 times in a period. How many days do you think before the kids will rock that skill? And how much correcting do I have to do? I don't need a worksheet. I don't need a textbook. I need to know that my 4th graders need to know compound sentences, complex sentences, and appositive sentences on the fly. So I'm just going to rep them like that. Have you guys heard of GoFormative? You teach math or science? Same mindset with GoFormative. In GoFormative, which is another free tool, it allows kids to draw on their screen and see what all 30 of them are drawing on your screen in real time. How much does it cost? It's free 99. It's free. So imagine this. Let's do the parts of a plant. Ready? I put in a picture of a worksheet of the parts of the plant, and I go, label it. They mess it up. I don't care. I'm Bob Ross. Let's do it again. That was pretty horrible. You guys didn't even get the stem right. So what do? Second rep, right? Rain cycle, parts of an insect. Do it. That was really bad, but we're going to do it again right now. And you guys didn't even use any colors last time. You're just going to go through the rep thing. Imagine that instead of lecturing, I give the kids parts of a plant, feedback, parts of a plant. 10 minutes. We do it again tomorrow. How do they look by Friday? They look good. And then Quizlet Live is good for that activity. So here's some examples. These are some tweets some people sent to me. Just finished 8 parts. Wanted to share. This is the open pedagogy piece. Wanted to share. So this teacher has made a Google drawing that you can go and get if you look at the hashtag EduProtocol. So if you like the 8 parts, some teacher, Sherry McDaniel, She's got to be NorCal because she put Merit 17. One slide could be printed for paper pencil work. I hope it's useful to you. This is open pedagogy. She took my macaroni and cheese and made it easy to prepare for you. You don't have to make a Google drawing. Sherry McDaniel did it for her. Can I get a golf clap for Sherry McDaniel? Thank you very much. Okay. How about this one? I've taught many a student and a teacher how to use the Google Suite. Now that I know about Edu protocols, I want to work on streamlining those. Once kids understand the tech, they tend to fly. How about this one? Today's Iron Chef with my AP kids. No, this is not beneath AP. It went so much better than the first one. It is, thank you for validating my thesis. It went better than the first one. Groups of 3, 10 minutes to create, 90 seconds to present, immediate grading. Love it. When was the grading? I know teachers, if it's you, don't look guilty or anything, just act natural. I know teachers that have actually printed out kids' PowerPoints and taken them home to grade. If it's you, don't just pretend like it never happened. Iron Chef is the way you do it. You give the kids 90 seconds to share their group work and you say, wow, that was really good, I'll give you a B+. I'm not grading it at home, because my wheelie cart is full of craft beer. This guy up in Maine, who I haven't met yet, loving the 8 parts protocols, hearing students use the terminology when asking questions and discussing is terrific. Slow now, but we will speed up. So this is what his lesson plan. Fast and curious, 8 parts, TSP. Using quizzes to review the author's point of view and grammar. Edu protocols. Repetition of the same ideas means higher percentage correct. They're taking the things that we used to stick on dead trees and put in a folder and sit there for 10 days and then put good job or smiley face. They're taking that out of the equation. Here's another one. 3rd week of 8 parts, 92% accurate, 92%. And that doesn't look like it was hand graded. Right? Would you agree? How about this one? My class passed through the etymology quizzes in 2 days, fastest cycle yet. I love the whole class. Here, this is the best part. Wait, we passed? Already? It took almost 2 weeks for the last one, but they're on a roll. They know the game, so they're putting most of their brain power on the content instead of on the process. Okay? So if you just check out the hashtag EduProtocols, you'll see tons of these all over the place. And this is kind of what class used to look like when I went to class. You know, Monday, take notes worksheet, and then Friday test. So this is what I'm suggesting to end the reign of paper. That we go to something more like this. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be quizzes. How's my planning look? And bear in mind, quizzes is just like Kahoot. You can go in and steal other people's quizzes. It's so much more efficient than making your own. If you type in California missions, nouns, verbs, I've got a group of teachers that are starting to do their timed math in quizzes. Think about that. This week we're doing 5s. Let's rock this puppy. Who gets feedback? Everybody. When? Now. I literally worked with a teacher that had laminated all of her timed math. Every afternoon she spent 45 minutes sponging off the expo marker and hanging them up to dry. And I would go, that is not what I'm doing for 20 years, man. That ain't gonna happen. So think about that. Take time to math, just one number of the week. Everybody twice a day. Boom. It's auto-graded. Everybody's gonna grow. It's okay if you don't get 100 at the start. Here's another look. Quizzes, quizzes, quizzes. 8 parts, 8 parts, 8 parts. But wait a minute. At week 4, something changes. Cyber sandwich, cyber sandwich, cyber. At week 4. So you have these different things that plug in and out. If you've played football, when we play a team that runs an option, we have a different defense. We might run the 50. When we play a team that throws a lot, we might put in the dime. You have a series of packages that you deploy based on the situation. You don't teach everybody how to play football all over again on Monday. You just adjust what's going on. So look how easy your planning is, you guys. You have 8 or 10 good protocols. You change them in and out as you need. And I've been this guy. I used to have 75 kids in my reading history, 2 periods of reading history. They turned in, on average, 14 to 15 pieces of paper a week each. So I was cruising well over 1,000 pieces of paper a week. I graded it in real time, which meant when it was time for homework, the kids would line up alphabetically. And if you didn't have your homework, you still lined up alphabetically, and when you got to me, you stepped out of line and called your mom to turn yourself in. I was good at this, and guess what it got me? Nothing. I completely stopped doing that. You know what happened to my scores? Nothing. They were the same. And I thought, oh my God, I spent 10 years making kids nuts and ruining my weekends, and I was getting nothing. And as I got better at these processes, guess what happened to my scores? They started to go up because I was mastery teaching instead of just making kids check boxes. It really changed everything. This is what traditional planning looks for me. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, I'm a little ADD. Okay, so let's say I have math workbook 3. I'm going to plan my next week. Okay, math workbook 3. I need activity 1 through 4. And then I need transparencies, 15, B, C, D, and G. I need teacher's editions, page 32, 37, and 52. Sometimes the appendix. And then I need the EL workbook, page 41, 46. And I need the GATE workbook 29 plus 102. I don't know why they can't put them in order. Does anybody ever feel this? And so I panic, and I go to Teachers Pay Teachers. So this is palletizing. Here's palletizing. Math reps every day for the next 4 weeks. See how happy I am right now? Oh my God. Oh. And then we're going to Iron Chef for 25 minutes on every Tuesday on mathematical concepts. We're going to do 10 minutes of quizzes a day, no grading. And then a 3-act every Wednesday. That's my perfect week for the whole darn year, you guys. I just do that better every week. And as the kids get faster, maybe I bring in one more protocol. And, you know, sometimes there's assessment weeks and things like that. Does having an assembly this week mess me up? I just pull one item off my palette. Yes, sir?
What's your thoughts on homework?
None. But, given the reality that parents want homework, I would go with my fallback position is no stupid homework. So, no word search, no crossword, no author study. I'll send kids home to do work they can actually do. So remember when I was talking about positive sentences? You know what my homework would be that week? I want a social media post by you within a positive sentence. And if you don't have social media, use Google Drawing and make a fake Instagram. So, or I might say, give me 3 of those. I just want some mastery. I just want some feedback. As a language arts teacher, I will put most of my time into reading. You know, if kids want to read at home. My bigger concern is with the math piece, because this is what I see as a guy who doesn't love math. If you give me 24 problems, the first 8, no problem. Bam. The second 8, where'd that exponent come from? So mom can help me, because it's kind of in the instructions. The last 8, I can't even find this at Khan Academy. So now I'm on a moral plank. Did my grandma die? Did I lose my homework? Am I just going for defiance? So I really like a model of, it's very comfortable, which is why, like, if I'm going to do math reps for homework, it's the exact same thing we do at school, except pick your own number. I'm good with that. And really, your parents who like that performance thing, they should be comfy with that. So my deal is minimize homework. If you're in a district where no homework is it's a complete non-starter, a nice way to start that I saw a friend of mine do, they just picked one night a week that was going to be homework free. So they said, hey, Friday nights is never homework from us. If you want your kids to get on Khan Academy, have a good time. But Fridays are homework free. Their multi-year plan is to move to like homework on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday only, and Friday through Monday is off. So they're trying to pull it back in phases. Does that make sense? And I'm always cool with free reading. Hey, read a book, that's great. But giving kids a packet to do every week that I don't really grade. If parents knew how much homework we threw away with a grade of good job, they would be horrified. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but I heard a lot of giggles. Okay, another example. Quizzes, twice a day is needed. Socratic, 4 times a day is needed. Freyer, 3 times a week is needed. 8 parts, daily for a quarter. Boom. I'm planned out. That's my whole first quarter, you guys. Now I might throw in some reading stuff, but you see the flow here? Same thing every week, but we're going to go faster and move the skill level up. That's the idea of protocols. Oh, I forgot. Iron Chef weekly, all day. If you don't know what an Iron Chef is, it's very much like a jigsaw lesson. Because anybody go to National University? Just me? Okay, we do lots of jigsaws, right? Every Wednesday night is jigsaw night. They go, chapter 4, summarize. Tell me 5 facts, right? So basically, an Iron Chef lesson is just a good old jigsaw lesson, except watch the twist. Each kid gets how many slides? So a group of 5, each kid gets 1 slide. Summarize, opinion, collage, graphic, however you want to break it out in reciprocal roles. 10 minutes to build 1 slide. So in 10 minutes, my whole class has built how many slides? 1 each. And then they stand up right where they are, and they have a maximum of, in my class, 2 minutes. Kick it out. Tell me what you got. Sit down. Next group, here we go. The kids will see a lesson on irony, or foreshadowing, or caricature. They'll get 6 reps in 1 period. When do I grade it? Immediately. If one kid doesn't do hers, because I know you, everybody else gets an A, and I tell you, do you know what we're doing? Because we're going to do this next week. And this is the Bob Ross piece. If you do it right next week, I'll backfill this week. Because maybe you weren't comfortable this week. So this week, I'm going to put a 0 for now. But if you rock this thing next week, I'll give you a retroactive grade. And we only get to play this game once, because I don't want to play this game all year long. But the idea is I want the kids to like the work. Because if I go, you're a bad person, you get a 0, I'm posting you, you're benched, she's going to be like, oh yeah, Iron Chef next week is going to have some interesting words in it. I want to grow her forward. I don't want to turn her off on that. But that's what my ELA program could pretty much look like. And how many textbooks do I need for this? 0-ish. I'm not trying to make the textbook bad, but I'm saying I think we're overly dependent. Like if your superintendent walked in and said, I'm going to call the custodians and they're taking back all the textbooks today, the crowd reaction would be a mix of woohoo and terror. Some foaming at the mouth, possibly some grievances, people texting their brother-in-law that's on the board, how can they do this? I actually know districts where they've taken the textbooks back and shipped them to Africa. But that has to come with professional development that teaches teachers how to think like this. But I really am a fan of craft thinking. And if you use the beer thing that's going on right now, like go back to 1978 during an NFL game. How many beers did we have? Coors Light, Michelob. But now try going to a 7-Eleven. Like every time I go, I'm like, I didn't even know you could put that in beer. Watermelon beer, fish beer, coffee beer, chocolate beer. I'm like, what is going on? That process was started because people were beer enthusiasts. Are you guys education enthusiasts? So we're kind of living in a place right now where if you need to take teacher's edition to get through the day, I won't finish that sentence. Okay, so think protocols over lessons. Try not to do one-offs. Build mastery as opposed to you got an A tomorrow, but who knows what's going to happen the day after. Because it'll be a different workload. It's big time lesson design event, so lots and lots of lesson design, but the other fun thing we're doing is extreme classroom makeover on 2 real classrooms. So we literally show up and put about $40,000 worth of gear in 2 classrooms so you can see what that might look like, and then we leave it there. So those 2 teachers are like, what? Well, after we do this year, there will be a call to see what school districts want to work with us next year. So that's bold if you're interested. That's my email and my Twitter. All of my sessions come with free lifetime technology support. I'm not kidding. If you email me Monday and go, I tried this thing, it didn't work, I will help you. My wife gets mad every time I do this, but I will seriously be there for you guys if you need anything at all. Thanks for being Saturday afternoon teachers. Hopefully you'll enjoy some craft beer and macaroni